Hi, katzcradul here, and welcome to Friday Questions and Answers. I hope this will prove to be a good way to answer your questions and get you the information that you desire. I have figured a better way to keep track of this. I've started a notebook now with all of your questions in it. I hope I haven't missed any this week, but if your questions have not been answered in this video, please send me a PM and let me know, and I will respond quickly. You won't have to wait until next Friday. For any new questions coming in after this video, rest assured I will keep track of them and will respond to you next Friday if your question requires an in-depth answer. If it's something quick, I'll respond to you right away. This is not just going to be questions and answers, it's also going to be odds and ends. Lots of times I feel like there's things I need to tell you or say to you that don't necessarily warrant a full video. So I'm going to try to take care of that on Fridays too, and I hope you'll find that helpful. One of the first things I want to share with you is you saw in my video on the Dustin Miser, you saw how we used that piece of equipment to apply a fine powder to plants in order to control pests and that kind of thing. Well, as my husband was getting rid of the box that came in, he found this little card and brought it to me, and I just want you to know that that Dustin Miser is made in the USA, and this little card was provided. I don't think I can get it much clearer than this, I'm sorry, but you can just trust me when I tell you that over here on the right side, it lists a description of every single part in that Dustin Miser, and every single part of it is replaceable. If you need a new crank handle, it's $6. If you need a new discharge tube, it's $8. You need a new fine screen mesh, it's $5. And you know what it is, and you can ask them for the part. Although I can't, I mean, unless you drop something on the long tube and crack it, I can't picture why you would, would need it. But anyway, if you break any parts, it's made in the USA. They're here. They've got it. They can send it to you. Isn't that great? In fact, you can just circle what you need, put your name and address down here, stick a stamp on it, and throw it in the mail, and they'll send you the new part. Love it. Okay. Thank you for all the support that you're giving my channel. I've gotten so many emails. It's gotten a word. I got so many emails on people who have tried my granola cereal and loved it, people who have tried the granola bars. In fact, I have one subscriber, I'm not kidding you, I posted the granola bar video, and within 2 hours I got a post back saying, the granola bars are great, my family just is raving about them. Somebody went and made them that very night, so that's exciting. I've got lots of good comments on the pot roast. Several of you have tried that and loved it. So I'm so glad. That just really encouraged me. I promise you this is not going to turn into a cooking channel. That was never my intent. But I do want to show you how to live more providently and how to be able to eat better quality food, especially incorporating food storage. Now, I realize the pot roast didn't have anything to do with food storage. It just happened to be that I was making it that night and thought you might enjoy seeing that technique. But I will try to show you lots of videos on how to use food storage. The next one coming up will be on how to make tapioca pudding. That can be done completely from food storage. And the reason that came about is because Prepper A always is after me to make tapioca pudding, and I mentioned it in a couple of videos, and somebody said, would you just show us how to do it? So I'm going to show you how to make the best tapioca pudding in the world. Another one you can look for to come up pretty quickly. Somebody wants me to make my homemade whole wheat bread in the sun oven, so I'm going to do that. So you can look for those two to come up pretty quickly. All right, let's see what's next on the list. I'm Still Working gave me a great tip on where to find textured bags, the ones like you use with the Food Saver, and I'm going to share that with you. I'll also post a link below. The company is called Sorbent, S-O-R-B-E-N-T, Sorbent Systems, and I ordered 500 quart bags for them, and I'm real excited to get it because I have 2 cases of dehydrated apples that need to be sealed away. One more thing, somebody, and I don't remember who referred me to this video, but Vention, I think it's called 4WH, Vention 4WH. I'll post a link to his video as well. He did an awesome video on how to use your food saver to seal up the corner of a mylar bag that you've used to line a really big bucket with, and it is ingenious the way he did that. I never would have come up with this idea, but I'll post a link to his videos so that you can watch that. In fact, I may go ahead and just favorite that video. Let me talk about favorites right now while I'm thinking about it. Over here on my favorites list on my computer, I have listed some videos that I think are important videos. I am never going to mess around with you guys. Now, I did the funny dog video with my dogs wanting jerky just because I needed a break and did it for fun and thought you might think it was cute. But I will not be making videos like that. And I also will not favorite, my favorite rock star singing his, most popular song or something. That will never go in my favorites. The only thing that's in my favorites are things that I think are important videos. And I've got some awesome ones down there. If you have not watched Sardi1's video on him using his monolithic ceramic filter, you need to go look at that video. Now, I don't care how you feel about him, whether you can take him or leave him. That doesn't matter to me, but the information is powerful. Go look at him using that monolithic filter, and I guarantee you're going to want to order you one. I've got about 4 or 5 now, because it's just impressive how that thing filters water. There's also a new one I posted from LDS Prepper on him making a $5 funnel solar sun oven. That is an impressive video, and I think not only is it impressive, it's important information. I want to go buy enough materials to make one of those $5 solar sun ovens for all of my neighbors. I would want them all to have one, and what a great way to get them into prepping and to begin training them and teaching them. Anyway, so I'm telling you, I'm not fooling around with this favorites list. It's not junk over there, and it's not just videos I think are cute. They are important. Go check that out. The Zookeeper 33 asked me about moving grape rootstock. His neighbors cut down, well, basically just mutilated a grapevine, but he thinks the stock is still there and he wants to move it. And I guess he thought I was the person to ask because I made a video on grapes. What I know about grapes, I told you in that entire video. So I am not an expert on grapes, but I'm fascinated with growing grapes, and I'm trying to learn. So I'm going to post links to 2 websites. One is bunchgrapes.com. They give some awesome information about using cuttings and doing that kind of thing. The other one is University of Minnesota Extension website. They have some great information. Oh, let me get on here. Some great information about grapes, and in fact, give you some diagrams on how to transplant and how to train grapes and that kind of thing. But if you are not keeping a notebook, I highly encourage you to get a notebook and print those things off of the internet, the information that you need or you think you may need. Go ahead and get it off now. In fact, when he mentioned grapes, I was thinking, you know what, I think I've got a section on grapes in my emergency preparedness notebook, because I knew I was interested in that. I knew we were going to try to save and grow this little grape. So I printed it off. Look, here's a newspaper clipping on mulching or something, and there's some information on the Sprout Master, and more on growing grapes. I had a problem last year with berry moths, so I went and got the information. Get it while you still can. Okay, so that's the great question. Let's go to, some of you mentioned that you have gone to check out Jackie Clay on backwoodshome.com, the Ask Jackie section. I'm so glad you found that helpful. For those who have not gone there, please go check her out. She is just an awesome resource. Sassy Spice asked, what dehydrated foods do you vacuum seal, and do they have to be, which ones vacuum seal well, and do they have to be rehydrated? Well, Sassy, really the only dehydrated foods that I store are apples and tomatoes, because they're round, and I only dehydrate them until they will bend. I don't dehydrate them to where if I bend them they crack. They will just bend in two and fold, and that way they have kind of rounded edges and they don't poke through the bags when I try to vacuum seal them. Everything else, well, you might be able to do grapes. I haven't done it. I always seal my grapes in jars, but you might be able to vacuum seal grapes because they're round and shouldn't have any sharp edges. Everything else gets an edge. Broccoli, mixed vegetables, even squash, strangely enough. Pretty much everything gets little sharp edges, so I don't put those in vacuum seal bags, but I do vacuum seal them in jars. While we're talking about dehydrating food, I saw a video this week where somebody was dehydrating squash without blanching it first. That I do not recommend that. If you saw that video, I really recommend that you blanch your squash first. You want to kill the enzymes that will cause that food to deteriorate. And if you blanch squash for just a couple of minutes, and that's true of most vegetables you're going to dehydrate, if you blanch them for just a couple of minutes, then shock them in ice cold water, drain them and put them on your dehydrator, you will end up with a better quality product that is more nutritious. Another question was about oxygen absorbers in vacuum seal jars. Now, there are some good people doing some vacuum sealing and dehydrating YouTube videos. I've seen some people that are very trusted who put oxygen absorbers in vacuum seal jars. That is redundancy to me, and it is a waste of money. If the whole point in vacuum sealing a jar is that you're taking the oxygen out, and if you haven't taken the oxygen out, it's not going to seal. It's not going to pull a vacuum. So there's no oxygen left in there. Why would you put an oxygen absorber in there? In case the seal breaks? Well, if the seal breaks, the oxygen absorber is going to work for you for about 15 minutes, and then it's not going to work anymore. Don't waste your money putting an oxygen absorber in a jar that you're vacuum sealing. And you don't even really, yeah, you just don't need it, okay? And if you're vacuum sealing a bag even, you don't need the oxygen absorber. If you pull the oxygen out, there's no oxygen in there. Don't waste your money. Okay. Another video I saw this week that concerns me. Let me just say this. It is never okay to walk away from a pressure canner of any kind. A pressure canner should be monitored. I don't care how reliable you think your canner is, or how consistent you think the heat is on your stove, or how you think no one's going to, walk into the room and mess with it or bump it or whatever. You should not walk away from a pressure canner. How do you know a jar's not going to break in that canner and change the pressure dramatically? There's just lots of variables, lots of things that could happen. If I am pressure canning and I need to run to the restroom or something, I call Prepper A or Paladin Prepper into the kitchen and say, please watch this canner for me until I get back. I literally pull a chair up fairly close to my stove, at least in the room, in the room where I can see the gauge, and I sit there and read or go through catalogs or read an article I've been wanting to read. I never leave my pressure canner. Please don't walk away from your pressure canner. G.F. Piper asked about making fresh mozzarella cheese. He wanted me to demonstrate that. I put Noreen, Atticus 9799, on that, and she's going to try to do it this weekend. So watch for her video about making fresh mozzarella. She has done it before with great success, and she is willing to demonstrate that for you. She also mentioned that she's starting a new series that's devoted to proper use of the pressure canner and how to preserve food long term. That's going to be a new series. It ought to be great, so be sure to look for that on her channel. Before I forget, honeyvillegrain.com is, or Honeyville Grain, and you can find them at honeyvillegrain.com, is having a special right now, 10% off everything. So if you've been wanting to try that company, now is a good time. That sale of 10% off is good until this coming Tuesday, July the 12th of 2011. If you want to take advantage of that, you need to enter FREEDOM, F-R-E-E-D-O-M, in the coupon section. And they also mentioned to me that powdered eggs are back. They've been out of stock for a long time, but they're back, and they're wonderful. I love the whole powdered egg. You might want to try that. Now a question from, let me see, Quilter in the Woods. She asked, does wheat germ have to be refrigerated? And you probably see wheat germ like this most often. That's how I buy it in my grocery store. It has kind of a golden yellow, powdery, not powdery, but it's, you know, grainy. And it is packed in a vacuum sealed jar. As long as that jar is unopened, it's shelf stable, and you can leave it right on your shelf like that. When you open this jar, you'll hear a loud whack with that vacuum coming undone, and then it needs to go in the refrigerator. If you're going to use it in about a month, you can leave it out, but if it's going to be longer than that, you need to refrigerate it, because wheat germ is loaded with oil. In fact, they consider wheat germ a waste product of making white flour. There's two waste products. One is wheat germ, and the other is wheat bran. I put some in the lid here so you can see. Let me show you that. Wheat bran. The two byproducts when they make white flour. In my opinion, when they make white flour, they've taken the good stuff away, because there's not much in white flour. There's some carbs, which give you calories, but not much else. I made this diagram for you. Let me see if I can prop it up here so that you can see. That is a grain of wheat, and this, I've kind of cut it open for you. So the white part on the inside is what white flour is made of. They've stripped away the bran, which is here on the outside. It goes all the way around at the bran. And then down here is the little germ. And the little germ is the inner embryo of the wheat kernel. Okay? So this is the germ, and this is the bran. The good stuff. Okay? If you're eating white flour, all you're eating is this endosperm, the inside, the white part. But you've lost the oil, the B vitamins, the folic acid. Wheat germ's a great thing for you gals who are expecting babies because it's loaded with folic acid, and you've missed the germ. Okay? So if they talk about enriched wheat, or like an enriched, like a breakfast cereal, what that means is that they've made the cereal with white flour, that portion that's been completely stripped down and is void of nutrients. That means they've added some of this back and some of this back possibly, or that they've just added some folic acid and some B12 vitamins back to it. So when you're getting an enriched grain product, recognize that you're getting a product that has been thoroughly processed and stripped of anything that's good for you, and then they're just adding some of the good stuff back. Okay, I hope that helps. I can't think of anything else we need to talk about right now. I hope you'll keep watching and commenting and asking all of your great questions. It causes me to stretch and think and be better at what I do. Again, if you have quick questions, I'll answer very quickly. If they're in-depth, then I'll hold it till the next Friday's question and answer. We may call it question and answers and odds and ends. So I look forward to talking to you again and making more videos. And I think you're wonderful. You've been kind to me and complimentary, and it makes what I do very satisfying. So I just want to say thanks to all of you. I appreciate you, and your comments are the high points of my day. That's all for now. Cat's Cradle.